Well, hello, and welcome to another Association of PEMF Professionals live broadcast. I am your host today, Dr. Jerry Dreesen, coming to you from about 20 miles north of Seattle, Washington, is where I'm located, for those of you that were asking. And if you are watching this, it's recorded on our Facebook page. Feel free to drop in a question there. We're more than happy to answer. If you are watching us live, definitely drop in a comment, say hi, let us know what's going on. So, with that, today we're going to be talking about another part of the body, which is the shoulder, and part of our little mini series that we've got going on. And the question is, can PEMF provide relief for shoulder pain? The short answer is yes. PEMF can provide relief for shoulder pain. And I can attest to that as a personal experience. And this is what led me to PEMF. I tried this product out. I knew nothing about it. I had heard about it coming from a physical therapy background, learning all of the different types of physical therapy devices that were out there as a chiropractor. In case you didn't know, chiropractors are also physical therapists. We were taught on all of the different aspects on how to do that. So when I first saw PEMF, I was very, very skeptical. It's like, what is this device? It seems like it's a TENS unit. It seems like it's interferential, or that there's some sort of an electrical component to it. Till I saw a video of a guy holding a large loop up in the air, and a horse from the other side of the pasture came running up to it, right next to it, but it wasn't touching the horse. And the muscles on the horse were pulsating. And I thought, what is this witchcraft? What is this? What is going on here? Because it was nothing like what I saw or what I was taught to use. Because in our world of physical therapy modalities, you have to stick something directly onto the thing that you're treating. So like on a human, you put a little gel and you stick things on it because you have to have a conduction of electricity. So electricity goes from one pad to the other pad, and it sends that signal, which is what a TENS unit is all about. Interferential is the same. It's just a little bit more powerful, and it only travels from one pad to the other. It doesn't go through things. It goes around. Same thing with ultrasound. Ultrasound is just a vibrating crystal in a pad, and that frequency has a certain depth of penetration. But if it goes over a bone, it can't go through it. In fact, it's very painful. If you've ever had ultrasound going over a bone, you talk about pain, but also using it on a shoulder too. When we talk about just the anatomy, when we take a look at it, you can see how close the bone is to the skin surface. And so if you're working on a tendon on the shoulder and you're using ultrasound, if you come close to the head of the bone there, you're going to get some pain. And one of the things about PEMF is it goes through everything. There is no reflective pain, or it's not blocked because of bone. Whereas infrared, TENS, interferential, ultrasound, those are all blocked by bony prominences, where PEMF goes through all of those things based on what's happening. So I was very excited to try PEMF when I first got it. And just the fact that it could be off of the body, it didn't have to have direct contact with the skin. I probably spent 4 weeks of daily 30-minute sessions on my shoulders. I messed them both up playing football in high school. That's the bottom line. I had a big guy. I was on defense, and I tackled him, and I got my arm stuck, and he landed on me on the ground, and I just popped both of my shoulders out. So that was my world for about 10 weeks, trying to recover from that in high school. Now, fast forward to being in practice for 10 years. having worked on my shoulders, but still having some issues. And when I found out about PEMF, I used them on my shoulders. And from that, I also came up with a program on how to work with shoulders. And in the whole system here, when we do a deep dive in the anatomy, the shoulder is one of the most complex systems of the body. And if I go back to this x-ray, one of the things is this little knot right here. So when you lift the shoulder, it's going to rotate. There's no ball and socket. It's a dish and a ball. So this is where it's up against here, and you can see that sliding right there. And when the arm goes up, this notch will run right into this bone. So as the shoulder goes up, it has to slide down. So we have both rotation and translation happening. And if the shoulder can't slide down, then it bangs up against it, and you get that shoulder that people raise and they can't lower it anymore. It's because this whole tracking system is off. And so those are the things we look at, especially in sports injury. And as you get older, whether or not that tracks. So if I can get a shoulder to come up and then drop, then it can be raised like it should. But again, anatomy, we have these structures inside here. One of them is this little squishy thing here called a bursa. And if you think of an egg yolk, this is a very tough egg yolk, but what it produces is liquid. So it's a way of greasing up the joints. So we have bursas everywhere in our body. And in the shoulder, sometimes if there's been a fall and you land really hard, you can smash the bursa and it no longer functions. It's no longer producing that nice greasy ointment inside the joint to keep it mobile and moving around. So to really understand the shoulder is to know the motions of the shoulder, because these are the things that if you're going to be doing sessions on a shoulder, you're going to need to know what to test for. So if you can have somebody stand and film them and have them do flexion, have them do extension, have them do hyperextension, and then turn towards you and do abduction, which means away from the body, and adduction, which means towards the body, and then the circumduction. And then they bring their arm up, and then they do the lateral rotation, medial rotation. And then this could be done, looking overhead, where they bring that horizontal abduction and horizontal adduction. And then the last one where you are raising your arms up like you're about ready to take off like Superman. So these are all of the motions, and we have 6 on this page and 5 on this one. So if you can imagine a joint that has 11 different types of motion, you can see how complex this is. And if you've lost any one of these, you may not even know it, which is why some people can have shoulder problems and not know it till later on in life, where they get, frozen shoulder. They're unable to lift their arm. As we age out, if we're not working our shoulders properly, if you're not doing this kind of motion all day long, as kids, we're running around climbing trees, playing wall ball, all that stuff. We get to use our arms a lot, but as we age out, we're not using them as much. We're in front of a computer, we're reading a book, we're opening our car, we're driving, we're turning the steering wheel. That's, for most people, that's it. That's all the motion they get on their shoulder. So without that motion, again, the bursa doesn't get a chance to really work its thing. And so, and again, all of the stuff that we eat, are we a smoker, all that stuff. So the health of the shoulder is a direct component of the health of the person, but also the history. So let's go into this whole thing about the shoulder. Now, inside our members area, I have a full on, here's what you need to do to treat the shoulder. So if you're a member, it's inside the members area. If you're not a member, this is one of the reasons why it's important to become a member. And what we do is we create these sessions and these videos and these steps and procedures on how you can do sessions on different parts of the body. And the shoulder is one of them. So there's a shameless plug right there for why you need to be a member of the association. So let's jump back into the shoulder. So here's some things you need to know about. You need to know about the joint. It's got tendons in there. It's got ligaments. You need to know the difference between tendons and ligaments. We've got muscles, bones, and the bursa. So that's, again, this stuff right here, you can go online. You can just type in, show me x-ray images of the shoulder, show me the anatomy of the shoulder, show me the ranges of motion of a shoulder. And there's lots of people out there that have done videos on it, that have got pictures. So you can do a really short amount of time to learn stuff on the shoulder just by jumping on the internet and typing in those things. So next we have on our journey through the shoulder some things that you really need to know. And those of you that are using PEMF in your business, we talked about in the membership area, that little checklist, things to ask, the history, the exam, all of those things. This is part of that. So, the person's age has a lot to do with it. Any history of injury, whether or not they've had any surgery. And some people, when you're working with them, they don't tell you that. You have to ask them 3 times before they go, oh yeah, there was this time, because in their mind, it's like 6 months ago, I didn't do anything. The older they are, the deeper you have to dig, because it could have been, like for me, it could have been something that happened back when I was 17 years old, when I injured my shoulders. And I, being a doctor and, going through all of that, I have a pretty good idea of, going through my life to find my injuries. But a person that's coming in to see you for the very first time may not know that. For example, I had a new patient yesterday, and she's in her 70s, low back pain, she's limping, and she doesn't know why her back hurts. And I'm looking at her x-ray, and her last vertebra on her back has slid way forward. And that happens with an injury. And it's like, when did you injure your back? I don't know. I don't remember. Are you sure? Like when you were a teenager, or it was a car accident, or, I don't remember. And there was definitely a major injury, but for some reason, with time and age, people forget the instances until you start working on them. Once you start moving that area, it's very interesting, because the area that was injured, when you move it, the pain that they feel triggers the memory of the incident that happened. So oftentimes people will begin to confess their injury to you as you begin to work on them. So if you find that a shoulder is frozen or can't work properly, or they can't lift it with gravity or with resistance, as you begin to have them move it, they might be able to remember what it was that caused it. So history of injury, surgery, did somebody do some sort of a nip and tuck on a tendon? And of all of the tendons or muscles, it's the supraspinatus is the one that's injured the most. That's the one, the pitching one, the throwing one, punching, hitting, lifting. That's the one that gets chewed up the easiest and the fastest. So most of us will be working on this part of the shoulder with PEMF. And my recommendation is to use the smallest double circle and put it right on that shoulder and go straight down into that so that they feel it. And that is oftentimes the very first type of session that you would do. Recurring injury. It's often tough to fix something if they keep re-injuring it. So having them settle down on what it is that they're doing, where you are asking them to please don't do that anymore, or for the next 2 weeks, can you stop raking or stop shoveling, or whatever it is that they do that flares that up, because you can help them out and they're getting better, but if they jump right back into the system that causes the problem, they're going to flare it back up. And so you've got this tug of war going. And those are the people that come back and they say, I used your product. I used PEMF. I'm not getting anywhere with it. How come? And oftentimes, and they know this, but they won't confess it. That's the thing. Again, I had a patient that came in with knee problems, and she swore up and down that PEMF caused her knee pain. Finally, I got it out of her that she had just gone to the gym and worked with their trainer, and they had her doing deep knee bends. And I said, that's what triggered your knee. And then they look really good. They're like, yeah, you're right. That's what it was. But they don't want to blame their decision. They want to blame something other than that they made a dumb mistake. So don't tell them it's a dumb mistake. Just tell them, you're a little bit smarter now, right? So recurring injury, that's really important too. So the classic types of sessions to do on a shoulder, I always like to start small, have them drink water before, drink water after. If they're on any kind of medication, that medication is in their body, but also around the area that you're doing, sessions on. And they will begin to detox so they can feel headachy. The shoulder itself might even hurt a little bit more. So I always want to start, as we say, start low, start small as far as time. Give them a small session to start with. And if they do well, then you could bump up from there. But ultimately, you want to be getting 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes a half hour, depending on your device, of session time. And if you had already gone through and done a video of them moving around in these different areas, which is great. If you got your phone, you can show that. You can also, from that, do a post visual of what they're doing on that, and they can see the difference. If you can get them on a plan, it would be 2 to 3 times a week, and then that would be 2 to 3 weeks. So oftentimes, like again, with my shoulder, I was doing it daily, and I did that for probably 4 weeks daily. And I was doing 20 to 30 minutes. I had my own machine, so it worked out really well. Those of you that rent machines, that's a great way to help people out too. They can rent the machine and they can do it more frequent. And I went from, not being able to move my arm at all to having, let me get in the shot here, to having that full range of motion all the way back here. I've got all of these ranges of motion, whereas before I could barely get my arm up here or just, down and behind me. Those are the problems that I had. And as a chiropractor, you got to have your shoulders. I mean, that's part of the business. If you don't have your shoulders or your wrists, then you become a teacher. But that's the joke that we have. So those of you that are in the business, if you're equine, if you're, like me, if you're a chiropractor in the healthcare profession, you know how important it is to keep your body healthy so that you can continue your profession without having to stop because of these things. Again, I emphasize this because I put the word must 3 times. So you must measure range of motion, because without that before and after, they're not going to know whether they got better. And you won't know either. And again, in my world, we do range of motion, like neck range of motion. I measure that. So then after we started care, we'll go back and revisit and do those measurements. And then there's an improvement. And they may not notice 10 degrees more flexion, but it's there. And now we know that it is there. And they're going, wow, I didn't know that I've improved. And so it helps your clients stay with your session plans that you have laid out for them, because you can both see the differences. And that's why it's really important. If you want to use devices that measure that, you can. If you want to just stick with a visual, you can do that. Sometimes you can take a screenshot of them at the full range of motion, and then you can put that on a piece of paper, draw a stick on their body, draw a stick on their arm, and you can measure that angle. So that's kind of a workaround for those of you that want to actually do a measurement with numbers if you don't have devices to do that. So again, just make sure that you understand the anatomy. Make sure that you know what's inside there when you're working on things. Where is their pain? Is it, a lot of times when people are working out, it's going to be up here at the AC joint. That's pretty common for weightlifters to have pain there. And again, that supraspinatus tendon coming up into here, right along that bursa. This is one of the ones that's damaged the most. But find out, where they're having their problems, measuring their range of motion. And so remember, if you want to know more about this, we've got it inside our membership area. I go through a whole bunch of other things, what I call the 4 phases of working with the shoulder as far as getting it better. And so the 4 types of PEMF application, again, those of your members know what that's all about and how it can help people get better even faster using PEMF. So with that, and let's jump through here. Things that you can do. Those of you that are members, drop a link to the AOPP in your membership. Let people know that you're a member by, showing, like we have up in the top right corner here, being a member, having the swag, all of the cool things that we have, demonstrating that you are a member of AOPP, having a link on your website that takes people to your membership spot on our website. So yes, know, like, and share. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Also visit our blog. You can take stuff from our blog, put it on your blog. Take what we have and use our information to help you market yourself with AOPP. Also, we just started this, so I will be jumping into the members only of the AOPP and doing some live broadcasts in there. Our goal is to have a workshop, for example, jumping in live and doing a shoulder workshop. So there's lots of benefit to being part of the AOPP, especially with our new members only. And if you aren't asked to be a part of it, you have to be a member of the AOPP in order to get in. So, and I've seen lots of people ask to jump in and be a part of it. And I would love to have you become a member. It doesn't cost a lot of money and you get a lot of value for it too. So, and of course, our code of ethics, those of you that were asking, like, who are you? What are you all about? This is who we are. This is what we are all about. And again, the more people that use PEMF on small animals, large animals, humans that are in our group, this is what we adhere to. And we're all about helping you. We're all about helping growing the community. We are in a great moment in time in the history of PEMF where there's going to be this huge growth. And we are so honored to be a part of that and to help you out with our certification programs. And again, we are also in the process of getting accredited. So that is a 3-year process. We started about 2 years ago. So that is in the makings, just to let you know. We haven't forgot about that, and that's what we're trying to get set up. So again, once we're there, then we will be able to teach our courses and have them be part of continuing education, not only for you as members, but also in the vet community, in the healthcare community for MDs and DCs, naturopaths, osteopaths, massage therapists. So we're real happy about that too. So in the end here, please become a member and be part of this great organization. It's really easy. Just go to PEMFprofessionals.com. If you have any questions or tips, again, on this live, feel free to drop them in there or shoot us an email. Lauren will be there to answer your emails. And with that, thank you so much again for your time going through the shoulder. It was very brief. Went through a lot. Hopefully you got 1 or 2 nuggets from this as well. And with that, I wish every single one of you a great day as we finish out our 3rd week of May. And take care. And yep, you're welcome. You are very welcome. Thanks for jumping on board. All right. Take care.